Everything you wanted to know about teen dating violence and healthy relationships by Safe+Sound Somerset. We are the leading domestic and sexual violence response organization in Somerset County, New Jersey, and we provide services at no charge for survivors in our county. This video will discuss dating violence and suicide. Call 911 if someone is in danger, and here are some hotlines you can also call. In the United States, 1 out of 3 teens experiences dating violence before high school graduation. This is a huge number. Also, this means that there are a lot of people not treating their dating partners with safety and respect. Teen dating violence happens in all income levels, races, religions, cultures, gender identities, and sexual orientations. Dating violence often has severe long-term impacts on the target. Survivors are at high risk for more drug and alcohol use, depression, anxiety, teen pregnancy, and self-harm or suicide. There is a higher chance survivors will use abuse or be a target of abuse in future relationships. All of these things affect the whole community too: schools, families, friends, and future partners. Dating violence is never the target's fault. We'll talk about that more a little later. Dating violence is preventable. It doesn't have to be this way. So what do you want to get out of a relationship? A relationship is however you define it. It could be any kind of casual or serious relationship with someone else. Feel free to pause the video here and think about it. Teens all over Somerset County have mentioned these often. Someone who listens, respects me, and communicates, for example. Throughout this video, think about the good things that you want. We have to talk about power and control. Everyone has it over their own lives. And when you have power and control, you have the ability to make choices for yourself, set boundaries, and give or take away consent or permission. What is consent? It's an agreement to participate. It can be sexual, emotional, or for material boundaries like permission to use a phone. Consent for sexual activity must be given for every action, reversible, freely given, and enthusiastic. You can't consent to sexual activity with a peer if you are intoxicated or incapacitated by drugs or alcohol, asleep or unconscious, or underage. You can't freely consent if someone is pressuring you or threatening you. Yes is not yes if it's a pressured yes. This does not feel good, now or later. So it makes sense that to feel safe and respected in a relationship, you need to have power and control over yourself there too. In a healthy peer relationship, both partners have equal power and control. When someone purposefully gains power and control over you, the balance tips. Because of one partner's actions, the relationship can get increasingly unsafe for the target. When one partner uses unhealthy behaviors more than once or in a pattern, this is called abuse. Each partner has rights and responsibilities, and that's what makes a relationship healthy. They can help you decide if an action is healthy or not. Relationship rights are automatic, they don't have to be earned, and they can't be taken away. I have the right to not be abused physically, emotionally, or sexually, to fall out of love with someone, to express my own opinions, to grow as an individual, to have my own friends and spend time with them, and be respected, loved, and live a peaceful life. I have the responsibility to not abuse my partner. I cannot blame anyone but myself if I'm abusive. I have the responsibility to understand the relationship is only one part of my life, to find support from a reliable source if I am being abusive or being abused. I am responsible for my own life. Following these gives both partners equal power and control. Each partner makes their own choices about how they behave and treat others, including their partner. And yes, you compromise together on things, but in the end, you have to make decisions that are best for you and your own safety and well-being. So what do you think? In these situations, Riley and Jesse are in high school and they are dating. They are also gender neutral because dating violence can happen to anyone. For each situation, choose if this is healthy, unhealthy, or it depends. You might want to pause the video to think or discuss. Riley sees Jesse talking to a friend after school in the hallway. Riley says, "You can't talk to that friend anymore." Riley says it's obvious the friend was flirting with Jesse. Is this healthy, unhealthy, or it depends?
The reason why this is not right is because people should be allowed to speak with anyone.
This is not okay, because when you're in a relationship, you have the right to your own friends. Your significant other cannot demand that you end a friendship without a second thought. If this happens, it is a red flag. Abusive partners can purposefully isolate you from others in your life so that they have complete control over you.
You have a right to have friends outside the relationship, even if it's an ex. You have the right to express concerns, but work through issues of jealousy without controlling the other person. Instead, Riley could talk with Jesse and say, "I saw you talking with your friend today, and I felt uncomfortable. Is everything okay? Can we talk?" Jesse goes to the movies with a friend and turns their phone on silent. When Jesse gets out of the theater, there are 5 missed calls and 15 text messages from Riley asking, "Where are you? Who are you with?"
This is not okay because it shows a trust issue from Riley.
This is not okay because when you're in a relationship, you have the right to your own privacy and independence. Riley might come off here as being protective, but possessiveness can easily be mistaken for protectiveness.
Riley is textually harassing Jesse by expecting constant and immediate responses. I get it if Riley thinks Jesse is in a dangerous situation and wants to make sure they are okay, but it seems as if they are paranoid. Remember, in a relationship, you have the right to spend time with friends. You also have the right to set boundaries with technology. Riley and Jesse are fighting after the movies. Riley gets very angry and punches the wall. Jesse is scared, but Riley says, "If you had just told me about your movie plans, I wouldn't need to be so angry." Riley hit the wall, not Jesse, so everything is okay.
This is not okay because when you're in a relationship, you have the right to feel safe. When Riley punched the wall, it made Jesse feel unsafe.
Anger is not the way to tell someone how you feel.
This is also a huge red flag because punching objects can easily escalate to physically hurting people. Riley tries to excuse their actions by deflecting the blame onto Jesse, but the fact remains that Riley is the only one at fault here.
Riley uses intimidation by causing fear through their actions and words. They are also blaming Jesse by saying it's their fault. Instead of getting violent, Riley should have talked about their feelings. People are allowed to be angry, but the ways they act on their anger matter. Jesse is scared, and that matters more here than Riley feeling disrespected. Jessie has had enough and works up the courage to break up with Riley. When Jessie tries, Riley breaks down and says, "I'm so sorry, I just love you so much," and that they can't live if they were apart. Riley threatens suicide if Jessie goes through with the breakup. Jessie now has an extra burden to think over when considering a breakup with Riley and will feel guilty making any other moves. Threats are emotional manipulation.
You don't owe anyone anything, and you should never feel trapped in a relationship or feel guilty for pursuing personal happiness. Remember, you always have the right to end a relationship.
You have a responsibility for your own life. This is an emergency situation, so call 911 and get a trusted adult involved right away. Teens all over Somerset County have told us about partners threatening suicide. Know the warning signs of abusive behaviors. So, what is dating abuse or violence? Abuse is a pattern of behaviors that a person uses to gain and keep power and control over another person in a relationship, whether it's casual or serious. Violence or abuse can be physical, emotional, verbal, sexual, digital, financial, or stalking. Some survivors never experience physical or sexual abuse, but they are still experiencing abuse. Abuse can happen in person and online, and it tends to get worse over time, more severe and more frequent. Here are some dating abuse warning signs. Is your friend constantly forced to check in with their partner, making up excuses for bruises, dressing or acting differently, acting nervous about their partner's reactions? Sometimes partners who abuse will say things like, "Why are you hanging out with your friends? Aren't I enough?" Or, "Why are you talking to your ex?" Or, "If you have nothing to hide, you'd let me see your phone." Sometimes they will apologize or say they love you, but that doesn't change the impact that their words and actions can have. This is not love either. This is the teen power and control wheel, which shows specific unhealthy, toxic, and abusive behaviors. Any of these things happening more than once can be considered abuse. Some actions, like threatening suicide, are immediately abusive because they put the target in a position that is unsafe and difficult to leave. The categories are anger and emotional abuse, using social status, peer pressure, or privilege, intimidation, minimizing, denying, and blaming, sexual coercion, threats, isolation, and cyberbullying. Physical and sexual actions are more visible or extreme, but they don't always happen. A partner who uses abuse can use these as threats to keep the other actions in the wheel going. Part of the abuse is convincing someone it's their fault and that they deserve it. But dating violence is never okay. It's never the target's fault, and it happens to 1 in 3 teens in America. The good news is help and hope are always available, and you can help your friends too. So what if my friend is being abused? There are so many things you can do to help a friend. First, believe them. People don't often make this up. Next, speak up and reach out. You can say something like, "I noticed that your partner constantly texts you and you seem anxious. Is everything okay?" Don't ignore the behavior. Ask how you can help. Accept your friend's feelings and decisions. They may not want to leave the relationship, so offer to sit with them while they call or text our hotline for support or safety planning. Don't contact their partner. This can make it more unsafe for you or your friend. Finally, take care of yourself. By supporting a friend, you are helping so much, and this can be very stressful. You may also be scared, so reach out to someone like a trusted adult or call or text our hotline. This is the equality wheel, which is the opposite of the power and control wheel. Take a look and think about your own friendships and relationships. The categories here are privacy and independence, trust and communication, non-threatening behavior, boundaries and intimacy, honesty and accountability, respect, shared power and negotiation, and support and personal growth. Speak up and reach out. Trust your instincts. If you think something's off, you're probably right. Safe and Sound Somerset is here to talk things out. Call or text the Safe and Sound Somerset hotline. We are 24/7 and confidential. Contact us for support, information, and safety planning at 866-685-1122. You deserve a safe and equal relationship.